Welcome, chosen one. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. The world might have tried to box you in, label you, and put you in a corner, but the universe didn't create you for limits. You've always known there's something deeper inside of you, something untamed, unstoppable, and raw. People can see it now. They feel it in the air when you enter a room. You carry an energy they can't explain. It's powerful, and they're afraid of it. You've got another side, a side that no one can control, no one can manipulate. The kind of power that can shake the earth beneath their feet. They thought they had you figured out. They saw your kindness and compassion and mistook it for weakness. They thought they could take advantage, push you around, or break you down. But they were wrong. They didn't understand that your kindness is the surface, the calm before the storm, the part of you that can heal, uplift, and love the broken. But underneath that, there's a force like a volcano waiting to erupt, a lion stalking the wild. You're not to be underestimated. You've faced battles that would crush others, but you've only grown stronger. Like a sword forged in fire, your trials have tempered you, shaping you into something unbreakable. Every time they tried to tear you down, you only rose higher. Every obstacle thrown in your way became fuel for your fire. They can't see it, but you were built for this. You were chosen for this. You were born to be the one who stands tall when others fall. And now they are realizing the truth. They are scared because they can't figure you out. They can't control you. The moment they thought they had the upper hand, you pulled the rug out from under them. You don't follow their rules. You make your own. You aren't afraid to take the road less traveled. You walk a path that they can't see, let alone follow. There's a power within you that others fear, not because it's aggressive, but because it's real. You don't pretend. You don't hide behind a mask. What you see is what you get. And that authenticity is terrifying. They want to know your secret, but they'll never understand it because you weren't made in their image. You were carved from the universe itself. You don't just survive, you conquer. You're like a storm that sweeps through and leaves nothing untouched. They thought they could break you, tame you, mold you into something small and manageable. But the harder they try, the more your true nature breaks through. Like a wild horse no one can saddle, you are untamed, unstoppable, and unshakable. Your power lies not just in what you do, but in who you are. And that's what terrifies them. You've been chosen by fate, by the universe itself, to rise above the noise and show the world what true strength looks like. They can try to dim your light, but they'll never succeed. The brighter they shine their doubt on you, the more you shine. You were born to be a force of nature, and no one, no matter how hard they try, will ever be able to tame you. Now they're beginning to see it. They're starting to understand that there's more to you than they ever realized. The question is, can they handle it? Chosen one, the world is starting to feel your power, but are you ready to show them just how unstoppable you truly are? This is your time to embrace the side of you that they can't control, the side that makes them tremble. If you're ready to stop hiding and step fully into your strength, prove it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to see the force inside them that can't be tamed. Comment 77 below if you're done letting the world try to box you in and you're ready to let your true power rise. The universe is calling you. Are you strong enough to answer? Let's unleash that power together. Number 1. Your power scares them, and they should be scared. There's a reason why they feel uncomfortable in your presence, a reason why they start to shift uncomfortably when you walk into a room. Your energy, your strength, it's something they can't put their finger on, and that makes them nervous. Your power is undeniable, and deep down, they know it. But here's the thing. They should be scared. Not because you're a threat to them, but because they've underestimated the force you carry inside. Think about it. People are quick to try and define you, to place you in a box that suits their understanding of the world. They want to label you, categorize you, make sense of you in a way that feels safe to them. The world wants to control what it can't comprehend. But here you are, walking through life with a power that can't be caged or controlled. The more they try to grasp it, the more it slips through their fingers. You are the storm they didn't see coming. And now they're feeling the full force of your existence. You've always known there was something inside of you that was different, something that set you apart. It wasn't always easy to pinpoint, but you knew there was a power burning inside, like an ember waiting to set everything ablaze. And that fire is just beginning to roar. They didn't see it before. They thought they could ignore it, dismiss it, or even try to put it out. But your flame isn't theirs to extinguish. They're scared of the way you refuse to back down. You don't play by their rules. You don't follow their scripts. You don't wait for permission. You don't need anyone's approval to be who you are. You rise above them, above their expectations, and that intimidates them. They don't like seeing someone who doesn't bow to pressure, who doesn't crumble in the face of adversity. It shakes their foundation because it forces them to question their own strength. When they see you standing tall, moving forward without hesitation, they can't help but wonder, what makes them so different? What gives you the power to keep going when others would have fallen? The truth is, you were never meant to fit in. The universe didn't craft you to blend in with the crowd or to follow the same paths others walk. You're meant to stand out, to carve your own path, and leave your mark. The world doesn't know what to do with someone like you, someone who refuses to be molded by its narrow expectations. It doesn't know how to deal with someone who's so grounded in their own power that they don't need validation from anyone. And that's terrifying. When they look at you, they see someone who has tapped into something greater, something beyond their reach. They see a force they can't understand, and that makes them uneasy. They can't handle the fact that your power doesn't come from external validation. You aren't looking for applause. You don't need a crowd to feel strong. Your strength comes from within, from the deep well of resilience and self-belief that you've built over time. That's what they're scared of. It's not your looks, your success, or your social media following. It's the quiet confidence you carry, the way you can stand alone without faltering, the way you rise when others would stay down. They don't know how to fight against that. And let's be clear, it's not just your actions that make them afraid. It's your spirit. It's the energy you radiate when you walk into a room. People are used to power being loud, being flashy. They expect strength to come with noise, with dominance. But your power is different. It's a quiet storm, one that can level anything in its path without a single word being spoken. Your presence alone demands respect, and that's what makes them uncomfortable. But why should you care? You shouldn't. In fact, you should embrace it. They're scared of you because they know what you're capable of, even if they don't understand it. You are the lion among sheep, the one who stands tall while others hide in the shadows. You are the force that shifts the tide. They can see it, even if they won't admit it. And deep down, they're terrified of the day when they can no longer ignore it. They thought you were harmless, a person who wouldn't fight back, a person who would always be on the receiving end. They believed your kindness was your weakness. They mistook your calm for passivity. But now, They're starting to realize that they misjudged you. You are the calm before the storm, and when you rise, it's with the full force of your strength. They've never met anyone like you before, and they're scared because they know they're not ready for what comes next. But here's the truth. They should be scared. You are a force of nature, unrelenting and unstoppable, and you're just getting started. They may try to bring you down, to manipulate you, or even to sabotage your progress, but they've already lost. You're too strong, too determined, and too grounded to be knocked off your path. They're afraid because they see what you're capable of, even if you haven't fully unleashed it yet. You are not the person they thought you were. You are the person they never saw coming, and they are now realizing they can't contain you. As you continue to rise, as you continue to own your power and walk in your truth, they will either learn to respect you or get left behind. There's no middle ground. You're not playing small anymore, and they know it. And that, my friend, is why they should be scared. Because the moment you fully step into your power, nothing and no one can stop you. Number 2, kindness doesn't make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. The world has always been quick to label kindness as a weakness, to assume that those who are kind are somehow less capable, less strong, or less worthy of respect. They've been taught to believe that power is loud, aggressive, and domineering. But here you are, showing them the truth. You've learned that true strength doesn't come from dominance or intimidation. It comes from something deeper, something unshakable. It comes from kindness. They've misunderstood you. They've seen your compassion, your willingness to give, your gentle nature, and assumed that you were an easy target. They thought kindness meant you would just sit back and take whatever they threw at you. They thought you'd crumble under pressure. But what they didn't know is that your kindness is not a shield to hide behind. It's the weapon that gives you the power to stand tall in the face of adversity, to rise above the chaos, and to make an impact no one else can. You've seen how the world operates. You know that people are often ruled by their egos, their fears, and their insecurities. They use aggression to mask their own weaknesses, trying to control others by force, by making them feel small or inferior. But you've never needed to stoop to their level. You've learned that your kindness doesn't require a response. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be returned. And that's why it's so powerful. It's pure. It comes from a place of inner strength, and it flows from you because it's part of who you are, not because you expect anything in return. And that's what makes it unstoppable. They thought that your empathy, your ability to care deeply, would make you vulnerable. They thought you'd allow them to walk all over you because you're too nice to fight back. But what they failed to realize is that your ability to love, to understand, to care for others is rooted in a strength they can't comprehend. Your kindness doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are strong enough to hold space for others, to lift them up when they are broken, without ever losing yourself in the process. You are not a pushover. You are a force of nature wrapped in compassion. You've faced the harshness of the world, and instead of letting it turn you bitter, you've allowed it to soften your heart, to make you stronger in a way that others can't even begin to understand. While they've been busy building walls around themselves, protecting their fragile egos, you've been building bridges. You've been the one who shows up when others are too afraid, too insecure, or too proud to act. You've been the one who speaks the truth when others remain silent. And that takes a kind of strength that isn't often seen. People fear your power because they don't know how to break it. They can't manipulate your kindness. They can't use it against you. They can't wear you down because your strength doesn't come from anger or aggression. It comes from something much deeper, the ability to be unshaken by the world around you. You are unmovable in your integrity. You know who you are, and you don't need to prove it to anyone. Your kindness is your armor, and your strength is your shield. Your kindness isn't just a trait, it's a way of being. It's not something you turn on and off depending on the situation. It's woven into the fabric of your soul. But that doesn't mean you're a doormat. It doesn't mean you're afraid to speak up, set boundaries, or walk away from toxic situations. On the contrary, your kindness allows you to see clearly, to discern when to stand firm and when to walk away. And that's the kind of power that most people will never fully grasp. The world may try to break you with its harshness, but you've learned to keep your heart soft and your spirit strong. And that's what makes you unstoppable. You know that being kind is not always easy. It's much simpler to give in to anger, to fight fire with fire. But you've risen above that. You've chosen to lead with love, to guide with compassion, even when the world around you seems to be crumbling. You've learned that kindness doesn't mean being passive. It means being strong enough to rise above the hate, the fear, and the negativity. You've chosen to lead by example, to be the light in the darkness, even when it seems like everyone else is consumed by their own shadows. And that's why you have the power to change the world. They may have tried to use your kindness against you. They may have twisted your words or manipulated your actions. But every time they did, you've come out even stronger. Because your kindness isn't about giving in. It's about standing your ground. It's about showing the world that you can be kind and still be a warrior. You don't have to fight with fists or words. Your power comes from the quiet, unshakable force that lies in your core. And that's the kind of strength that scares people. They're scared because they don't know how to fight against someone who doesn't need to fight. They don't know how to handle someone who can be so gentle yet so powerful at the same time. And that fear is what makes your kindness so unstoppable. It's the one thing they can't control, the one thing they can't break. It's the thing that will always keep you standing, no matter how hard the world tries to knock you down. So don't let anyone tell you that your kindness is a weakness. Don't let them make you feel small for being compassionate, for caring deeply about others. Your kindness is your greatest strength. It's what sets you apart from the crowd. It's what makes you a force to be reckoned with. And it's what will keep you rising, no matter what obstacles stand in your way. They've tried to break you, but they've failed. They've tried to use your kindness against you, but instead, it's made you unstoppable. So, keep being kind. Keep being who you are. Because your kindness isn't just a part of you, it's the very thing that will change the world. And nothing, no one, can ever take that away. Number 3. They underestimated you. Now they can't keep up. They thought you were just another face in the crowd. They assumed you'd fade into the background, that your quiet strength would go unnoticed, your potential untapped. But they didn't see what was really inside you. They didn't see the fire burning, the determination that never wavered, the drive that couldn't be snuffed out by their doubts or distractions. Now, as you rise, they're starting to realize just how wrong they were. And they can't keep up. You were never one to boast or seek attention. While others made noise, you stayed focused, carving your path quietly but steadily. They thought you were too passive, too soft, too much of a dreamer. They thought your kindness and humility meant you were easy to overlook. But now, with each step you take, they're watching in awe as you surge forward, leaving them behind. They thought they knew your limits, but they were wrong. They didn't understand the depth of your strength or the power that you carry within. They didn't realize that you were just waiting for your moment. You weren't idle. You were building, learning, growing. All the challenges you faced, all the setbacks and disappointments only fueled your growth. Every time they tried to push you down, they only pushed you closer to your true potential. They thought you'd stay down, that you'd give up. But you didn't. You rose, stronger than ever, until now. Now they can't keep up with you. What they failed to see was that you were building something no one else could see, something powerful and unstoppable. They thought you were stagnant, that you'd never move beyond the space they'd placed you in. But now you're breaking free, moving faster and more purposefully than ever. Your determination has become your greatest asset, and they're realizing that they're not even close to where you are, let alone where you're headed. You've proven that their assumptions were wrong. They believed your silence meant weakness. They thought your patience was a sign of hesitation. But now, as you push forward with relentless focus and clarity, they see that you were never waiting for permission. You were never waiting for validation. You were just biding your time, knowing that the right moment would come. And now that it has, they can't keep up. You've outgrown them, and they know it. They've been caught up in their own speed, their own rush to reach the top, never realizing that the real power lies in the ability to endure, to build slowly and steadily. Now, they're scrambling to keep pace, but it's too late. The gap has widened, and you're too far ahead to be caught. They underestimated you, and now they're watching as you leave them in your wake. As you continue to rise, they will continue to wonder how they missed it. They'll wonder how they never saw your true potential, how they thought they could stop you. The truth is, you were never the one they needed to worry about. You've always known your worth, even when they didn't. And now you're showing them that the only person you were ever competing with was the person you used to be. And that person? They could never keep up with who you are now. Number 4, unleash the beast. Imagine a lion silently watching from the shadows, patiently waiting for the perfect moment. For years, it watches the world move around it, unseen and unnoticed, as if it's just another part of the landscape. It's calm, serene, seemingly harmless. But beneath that calm exterior lies raw, untapped power, a force that once awakened will tear through anything in its path. That lion, that's you. And now the world is finally seeing what happens when you unleash the beast within. For so long, they underestimated you. They looked at you and saw only what they wanted to see, a person who would follow the rules, stay in line, and never rock the boat. They saw your quiet strength, your restraint, and assumed it was weakness. They believed you were too passive, too gentle, too unwilling to confront the chaos. But what they didn't know, what they could never have known, was that you were always waiting for the right moment to strike. They never saw the hunger behind your eyes, the fire that was slowly building up inside of you, ready to explode. Now they're witnessing the aftermath of their mistake. Like the roar of a lion that shatters the stillness of the jungle, your power is undeniable. You've stepped out of the shadows, and you're showing the world exactly what happens when you decide to stop playing small. They're left stunned, disoriented, and scrambling to keep up because they never saw it coming. You've unleashed the beast, and they don't know how to handle it. Every moment they doubted you, every time they tried to hold you back, it only made you stronger. They thought they could control you, manipulate you, keep you within the boundaries they set. But instead, their attempts only pushed you to dig deeper, to find strength you didn't even know you had. And now, you're stronger than ever, rising higher and higher as they watch helplessly from behind. They never knew how strong you were because they never bothered to see you for who you really are. And now, their eyes are wide open, and it's too late for them to turn back. They're terrified because they know they can't control you anymore. They can't anticipate your next move. The person they thought they had figured out, that person is long gone. You've evolved, you've transformed, and now you're a force that can't be stopped. They tried to hold you back with their doubts, their limitations, but now you've broken free, and there's nothing left but the aftermath of their misguided assumptions. What they failed to understand is that your quietness wasn't weakness. Your calm wasn't fear. It was strategy. You were always planning, always moving forward, always growing stronger, even when they couldn't see it. And now that the beast is free, there's no putting it back in its cage. There's no going back to the person they thought you were. So let them be shocked. Let them scramble to catch up. You've shown them what happens when you stop being what they expect you to be and start being the force of nature you were always meant to be. Unleash the beast. They never knew what hit them, and now they never will be able to stop you. Number 5. No one owns you. You answer to no one but yourself. There's a certain power in knowing that you answer to no one. It's the kind of power that makes people uneasy, because it's a reminder that your path is your own to walk. You're the one steering the ship, charting your course, and no one can dictate your direction. They can try to control you, manipulate you, or push you into a mold that suits their interests, but they'll never succeed. Why? Because no one owns you, and that's a truth that scares the people who think they can pull the strings. They've tried. They've tried to convince you that you need their approval, their validation, or their permission to move forward. They've wanted you to follow their rules, to conform to their expectations, and to live within the boundaries they've set. But you've always known better. You've always known that your worth, your strength, and your purpose don't come from their opinions. You don't need anyone's permission to be who you are, to chase your dreams, or to carve out your future. You've always been the author of your own story, and that's a freedom that no one can take from you. It's not that you're arrogant or unwilling to listen. It's that you're confident in your own choices, in your own ability to navigate through life's challenges. You know that the only person you truly need to answer to is yourself. When you look in the mirror, it's your reflection that holds the weight of your decisions, your success, and your failures. You've built yourself from the ground up, and no one can take that from you. Your strength comes from the fact that you don't need anyone else to validate your worth. People can't understand how you do it. They're used to seeing others bend, shrink, and compromise to fit into boxes. They expect you to do the same. But you've never been like everyone else. You've always known that your journey was meant to be different, and you've refused to let anyone else dictate your path. They can try to put you in their categories, label you, or tell you what you should be, but you've never cared about fitting their mold. You're not interested in playing by their rules, because you've already created your own. This independence, this self-reliance, is a power that shakes the people who rely on control. When they see you walking through life, confident and free, they're left wondering how you do it. They're trying to figure out the secret to your strength, but they'll never understand. It's not something that can be explained. It's something that's built into your DNA, the ability to stand tall without needing to lean on anyone else. This isn't to say that you don't value the people around you or the relationships you've built. You do. But you've learned the important lesson that your self-worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. You don't need anyone to complete you, to tell you that you're enough. You already know it. You've already proven it to yourself time and time again. And that's what makes you untouchable. That's what makes you unstoppable. So let them try. Let them attempt to control you, manipulate you, or convince you that you need them to succeed. They'll fail because you answer to no one but yourself. Your life is yours to live, and no one can take that from you. You've built yourself from within, and as long as you keep answering only to your own truth, nothing can ever hold you back. Number 6. Walk alone if you have to, but never back down. They think you're afraid to be alone. They think you'll crumble, that you'll cave to the pressure and turn back when the road gets too tough. They think you need their company, their approval, their validation. They think that when you're standing alone, you're weak, vulnerable, or lost. But they couldn't be more wrong. The truth is, you've always known that walking alone doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. And when you're standing tall, alone, you've got nothing to fear. They think you need a crowd to succeed. They think the noise, the distractions, the opinions of others are what will keep you going. But you've learned the hard way that relying on others only slows you down. They'll cheer you on when it's easy, but when things get difficult, you're the one left fighting your battles. The truth is, you've been walking your own path for a long time, even when no one was watching. And now, when the world expects you to bend or break, you're standing stronger than ever, because you've learned to walk alone and still keep moving forward. They want you to follow the crowd, to go with the flow, to be like everyone else. They think that blending in, staying safe, and following the rules will get you what you want. But you've never been the type to blend in. You've always had the courage to stand apart from the rest, to go against the grain when everyone else was playing it safe. You know that true growth doesn't come from following the herd. It comes from stepping outside the lines, from pushing your own boundaries, from daring to be different. And when they see you doing it, they'll try to make you doubt yourself. They'll try to convince you that you're lost or that you're making a mistake. But the truth is, you're not lost. You're just walking a path they're too scared to take. They think you'll turn back when it gets too hard, that the weight of the world will make you fold, that the challenges you face will be your breaking point. But they haven't seen the depth of your strength. They don't know that each obstacle only makes you stronger. Each setback only fuels your fire. You've been through things that could have destroyed others, but instead, they've built you up. You've faced the darkness and emerged from it stronger and more determined. They've underestimated your resilience, and now, when they think you're ready to break, you're only just beginning to rise. So, let them think you're alone. Let them think you're on the wrong path. Let them believe that walking alone is a sign of weakness. They'll be the ones left behind, still stuck in their comfort zones, too scared to step into the unknown. And you? You'll keep moving forward, even if it means walking alone. You won't back down, you won't shrink to fit their expectations, and you won't let their doubts stop you. You've learned that the toughest battles are the ones fought alone, but they're also the ones that make you unstoppable. So, keep walking. Keep moving forward, no matter how many people fall away. You've already proven that no matter the path, you'll never back down. You've learned to trust yourself, and you know that the road ahead, whether traveled alone or with others, will always lead you to greatness. Number 7. You're the storm they didn't see coming. They thought they had you figured out. Quiet, calm, maybe even a little too composed for their liking. They underestimated you, believing that your stillness was a sign of weakness, that your patience was an excuse for hesitation. They thought they could predict your every move, that they could control the pace, the timing, and the outcome. But they couldn't have been more wrong. You are the storm they never saw coming, and now the aftermath is hitting harder than they ever imagined. They thought you were harmless because you didn't rush, because you didn't react impulsively. They thought your silence meant you were passive, that you'd let things slide and let them get away with it. They had no idea that all this time you were waiting for the moment to strike, waiting for the perfect opportunity to show them that they had misjudged you. And when that moment came, they were too slow to react. You moved with precision, with purpose, and now they're left stunned by the force of what they never saw coming. Like a storm on the horizon, you've been quietly gathering strength, letting the pressure build, preparing for the day when you would unleash everything you've held inside. And when that day arrived, it was more than they could handle. They thought they knew what you were capable of, but they only saw a fraction of it. Now, they're scrambling to recover, watching the destruction you left in your wake, realizing too late that they couldn't stop you, no matter how hard they tried. They couldn't see your power because you didn't let it show. You didn't need to announce your strength to the world. You didn't need to prove anything. You knew that when the time came, your actions would speak louder than words ever could. And now, with each move you make, with each step you take forward, they are forced to acknowledge the magnitude of your power. They see that you are the force of nature that no one can control, and they're terrified of it. The storm you've become is not random or chaotic. It's deliberate, focused, and unstoppable. Every obstacle they put in your path, every attempt they made to hold you back, only added fuel to the fire that now rages within you. They thought they could break you, but all they did was strengthen you. And now you're leaving them in the dust, watching as they struggle to keep up with your momentum. They've never seen anyone like you before. They've never seen someone rise with such intensity, with such focus, with such raw power. And now that they've felt the force of who you are, they realize it's too late to turn back. They've already lost. You are the storm they didn't see coming, and there's no stopping you now. So let them stare in disbelief. Let them try to recover from the shock. You've shown them exactly what happens when you stop holding back, when you stop pretending to be anything other than the unstoppable force you were born to be. They didn't expect it. They didn't understand it. And now they'll never forget it. You are the storm. And now that it's here, there's no turning back. And with that, you've seen it. The power within you that others fear, the strength they couldn't predict. You are unshakable, unstoppable, and the world is starting to realize it. Now it's time to fully embrace who you are and never back down. If you're ready to rise, to step into your full power, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Comment "Unstoppable" below if you're done playing small and ready to take the world on. Keep rising, keep fighting, and remember, your strength is your greatest weapon.